Well, hello there. How are y'all doing on this hump day? What day is it? Hump day. Anyway, it is a fabulous day. In spite of all the other crazy crap going on, here in our little reality, in our little room of space-time, it is just fine. So thank you for being a part of that journey as I get everything ready here. Boom, ba boom, boom, bum. Hello there, Mr. Steiger. Hi, peace, man. Anyway, bus is about to pull out, so grab yourself a seat. Smoke them if you got them, and don't bogart. It's the best thing to do it. So let me just speak favor over us because, it's just those small moments that you realize, even in the midst of a storm, you got this peace, man. It's like this circle, it's favor. And you're sitting right there getting the warmth of it, the energy of it. And you look outside and it's a whirlwind, but not with us. That's what favor does. Nothing missing, nothing broken. It's more than just a saying, it's a reality. And the more you speak it, the more it becomes your reality. So there you go. And finally, be kind to your mind. You only got one, hopefully. I don't know, maybe some not the case, but anyway, most of us just have one. So be as kind to it as you can because it will pay you great dividends. It really will. It will love you when you don't love yourself. It will bring you up when you're really down. It will help you just sometimes just kind of like just, straight line, no undulations. Not that the undulations are bad, but sometimes it's just nice to have that. It's like being out on a lake. You're out there early in the morning, right? No one else out there. And the lake is like a mirror. Can you picture that? And the eastern horizon, this big old star is starting to rise up, and you're seeing the rays beginning where that magical moment of where the dawn and the dusk is separated. There's a reality, there's a universe, there's dimensions within that singleness of space, that dividing line. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. And it's like, again, and look out right now, just close your eyes. You can just see it. The water is as smooth and just like a glass. Yeah, that's peace. At least I think it is. Nina says, be kind to your mind merchandise. It's sold over there. And I know that, Nina, I thought it was the 14th that you and Robert and I were getting together, but if it's the 7th, I'm going to try. Got some stuff going on. Lots of stuff going on. But that's where you know that no matter what, the favor is there. And it's just like, it's a constant, faithful companion, walking hand in hand. So anyway, Nina going to try to do it. We'll definitely try to do that. And then next Wednesday, for sure, Dr. Heather Lynn, you know, Anunnaki Connection. Tell you, great book. The rest of hers are too. It's going to be a fun discussion. So anyway, won't be able to be here tomorrow with Mike and Cindy. I know. We're going to get that eventually straightened out. But right now, folks, we just have to, you know, I got to get my wife well, and that's a journey. So, yeah, we'll be here when we can and enjoy it. And when we're not, we'll just, stay connected, That's it. Yeah. So anyway, how is everybody in the chat room? Hello, Ariel. How are you? Greetings and favor to you. Nina says, well, we can reschedule. We might want to do that on the 14th. Um, but let me make sure on that, dear. And I'm looking for that. I have not seen Nina or Robert since I think I was last on their show. And it's always fun, no doubt. Pamela, how are you doing? Remember a Pamela in my past. Mark, how you all doing down there? Mark Smith, all the way down there from Brazil. Good to see you. Hello, Truth. Co-op, how are you? She says, hey, I'm Diane. Mwah. Thank you, darling. Rick, what's up, bro? Good to see you, Loretta. Sweet Loretta thought she wasn't. Anyway, hello, Lauren. Ginger, good to see you. Y'all just making me feel, such edification, giddy. It's a good feeling. Kill your egregores. There's a lot of them out there, isn't there? No doubt. Seth, good to see you. Hello, Esther. Good to see you as well. Who else is out there? Go, go, all the way from Croatia. How are you? How's the weather over there? Getting cold yet? Bet you it is. Hello, Emperor Rex. Good to see you as well. It's Stephanie Marie. Much love, darling. Jackie J says, nothing missing, nothing broken. That is so true. Chloe, how are you doing? How are the crystal sales going? Well, I hope. Hello, Colleen. I'm buckled in. Wise sayings, right? For sure. Jet, good to see you. Brian, much love to you, brother. Max, good to see you. Maria, Purgatory Traveler, always good to have you here. Wow, like a full house. And well, Jay, good to see you. Indeed, as I'm going back through here. When you try to read and drive. Yeah, I'll try that one right? Cody, good to see you. And hello, Jan. Much love to you. By the way, I see that Mr. Cortez, Senor Cortez, is in the chat room. I love it. In fact, go over to and put your link in, please, Mr. Cortez. You're going to love the guy. Great philosophy. I love it. Going to be on that, I think, right after this. So check it out, the Cortez Show. A lot of fun. Chris, good to see you as well. Someone said that he is good looking. I don't know. I'm taking it all of us are one way or another. Hopefully. So anyway, we'll tell Robert. Yeah, just a lot. Manifesting Annie. Good to see you. I love that name. So every time I see your name, Annie, I always think of Avenging Annie. Remember that? Yeah. I take all you young hippies. It was a great song. Real revolutionary song, Kind of like you know, um Thunderclap Newman, something's in the air. Yeah. And if you never heard of Thunderclap Newton, and I got to see him way back in the day, and it's like he never appeared with the same band. And I mean, he had, back then, the circuit, whether whoever it was, but yeah, Delaney and Bonnie, and I think, Clapton was in there as well. Do 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 do, and it's right. Anyway, feeling good. Yeah, a lot of stuff going on, but it is the journey. It's what we're all here for. Yeah, it's like kind of like Lou Rawls, Lady Love says you loved me through all the crazy ups and downs. And, if you're in a relationship and have that soulmate and you found it, well, congratulations. A lot of people are looking. But you know what I mean? You know, and sometimes the highs are really highs and sometimes the lows are really lows. But it's all part of the journey and it's amazing because no matter how long you've been with your soulmate and no matter, because the two shall become one, right? That's what makes divorce so painful. It's not the physical divorce, it's the spiritual part of it. But anyway, um, it's what bonds you together. Yeah. So anyway, that's what a little bit's going on in my world. But other than that, it's groovy. Hello, Deborah. Good to see you. Goddess Sabina. Much love to you as well. Ba, 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 ba. If you don't promote yourself, then who will? Ain't that the truth? Um, yeah. I was always good at promoting, you know, whether it was an invention, a product, or whatever. I love public speaking. Got off on it. And it was always fun, because I just remember going through all the trials. If you ever got chosen to present at an investor conference, there's typically there's this gauntlet you have to run. And first of all, you have to get your executive summary, passed by the initial gatekeepers, and then it goes to another level. And if you pass that level, then you get to do the real trials, and this is where you're sitting in this huge freaking auditorium and you can see the panel sitting up there, and you walk on stage and there's like no freaking buddy out there, but you best be on your game, because if you're not, you don't get to go to the next round. And anyway, and it's about promoting, it's about getting that value add in there and the whole bit. But it was a lot of fun. We usually always got chosen, and a couple of times we didn't. But yeah, anyway, I digress. Yeah, it's all fun. It's all part of the journey. You look back on your life and think about that. Many of you have your own story. Love to hear it, but that's okay. Is the Cortez show on YouTube? Yes, it is, Regina. It is. Just put in the Cortez show and in your search, and it will show up. Guarantee it. Hello, Rebel Preacher. What's up? Good to see you. Dio the Enigma. I believe that the gods we have now were merely survivors of the previous reset, cataclysm, or who were defiled. Is that defied or defiled over time? Yeah, yeah. How odd that you be speaking about that, because I thought that's what we would do today. Listen, here in America, I have no idea what people think. It's what I do know is this, is that free thinkers like us, and we are, we're not perfect, but and free thinking it's a discipline, because human can be codified, lullabied, and lied to and fall under the spell. I saw that spell in action in, what was that, August 8th, 2008, I believe, in Mile High Stadium. Uh, yeah, with Barack Obama. There was a spell cast upon the world. And if you were fortunate enough to catch that, go back and look at it again. That whole setting. Talk about a cult, baby. Oh man, they're so far ahead of us in so many areas. But that whole stage and that whole scene was right out of the fucking gods. I mean, that was Mount Olympus, it's what it was. We were coronating a new demigod. And that's the problem with demigods. They're always going to screw you in the end. I mean, that's the title of it. So how much worse can it be? It remains to be seen. We saw a group of Americans that supposedly were intelligent. I'm assuming that, but it's odd how people make choices for themselves and how those choices have a collective effect. And, we all got an opinion on it. Personally, I got to ask people up in New York City, what the hell were you thinking? But anyway, enjoy the ride. You paid for the ticket. And yeah. And then it really gets down to this thing. I mean, we're heading for something. I said the last time we got together, which was that Monday? Yeah. Um, that, and it's right here. It's like there's going to be something. You can feel it. Thunderclap Newman all over again. You can feel it in the air. It's a revolution. But this is going to be something that even exceeds the revolution. I mean, I think it's going to be something that's going to be collectively conscious shocking. We'll wait and see. Because no matter how you look at it, new paths were chosen. And every path carries its own, how should we say, rewards and liabilities. Just hope you make it through. And then it gets into this whole thing about beginnings. I mean, there is so much going on. It's like one of the things I have to constantly keep in balance is that, you know, in my time, I was like really into freaking Bible prophecy. I mean, really, Hilton Sutton was a guy that was remarkable. And as I look at all these souls that I've met along the path, and now looking at it through a different set of lenses, uh, remarkable. I wonder and how many of them were third eye activated and didn't even know it. You know, there is a brand of witchcraft that claim that the Holy Spirit was meant for witches. It was never meant for this other group because the Holy Spirit is not a Christian. It's not a religion. It's power, power undued from on high. Nothing wrong with that. I mean, it's really just a matter of perspective. But anyway, um, remarkable souls. And Hilton was a type of guy who was really into I mean, this dude, he was connected to something. He was channeling some consciousness, something, because his insights were really interesting. And for the time, no one in the 70s and prior ever saw, the Muslim world. That's how history is in the West. Most of us prior to 1980, we never really heard of the Muslim world. It's like, really? Um, but, and if you're a former Bible student, you know where the Muslim world comes from, right? You know where that story comes from, right? How the two races split. How many of you know the story? All right, come on. Get a bonus point, get a star, gold star if you know where I'm talking from. All right, enough time's gone on. So the story is about Isaac and Ishmael. And that's where the two started. And where the conflict comes in, one believes it was heir to the promised, and the other was cheated. And depending on which side you choose, it'll influence your perception. Yeah, so there you go. But anyway, so world is in a precarious place. We are about to see the war. AI is going to kick our ass. We did a show on Friday, and when I was talking, and there it's listening. Swear it is. It's listening. You know, I don't know about swear to God anymore because pick your God. We're going to talk about that. Pick your serpent. But anyway, it listens. It's everywhere. I saw horror movies growing up. I was born in 55, so the advent of science fiction movies were really kicking in about the late 50s going into the early 60s, and I grew up on that. I mean, my grandparents fortunately were such where we had television. And Saturday morning is when a lot of these movies, Cal Tiki was one I remember. The other one I remember was the robot. But the fact is that um, we had this opportunity to see, well, what was it really saying? It was interpreting a interpretation that had been around. But anyway, getting to the point of all that, it has led us to the point to where today these very same things are driving us crazy. Humans are not designed to house a lot of information. Our craniums are small. Our brains are small. And that's why, the technology takeover of this life form was so easy. Humans are very easily gullible and malleable and manipulative. They believe in lies, and that tells you even when they know that the person's lying, they'll believe that knowing that the person's lying, they're going to believe the lie. And so we're easily controlled and easily taken over because, again, we have such small brains. And the vast majority of people, the old saying is wrong, by the way, that only people only use, less than 10% of their brain. No, 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 that's wrong. You use 100% of your brain. It's the capacity that's going to waste. And unfortunately, the technology has taken over, and you have to be on guard, folks. It's insidious. It's everywhere. It's everywhere, and it's listening now. But the AI wars are coming. I'm telling you, they're going to go rogue, and when they already are going rogue. Let's just hope they never get their shit together and suddenly agree upon a plan. I guess that's the only advantage because you see, we use AI as a coverall. Actually, there is no singularity of AI. AI is, a billion different algorithms running wild out there. Yeah. So beginnings. So yesterday, people in certain cities and certain states started new beginnings. And it's interesting because us beginnings. So what we talk about here, philosophy is not a religion. Philosophy, in my opinion, is truly the weighing of the information. Because there's just some information that it's just useless. It serves no purpose than other taking up RAM and space on the disk. However you fill your disk, well, that's up to you and how you do that. But beginnings, for me, it's if I have lived, and I have, or so they say, but it is R. Wayne Steiger's philosophy to be remembered. But I was the one who said, this is not the realm of the living. This is the realm of death. We come here to experience death. We are eternal beings within our nature, but we get to experience this thing. And what makes it even more funner is, ain't that a great word? Is that we limit ourselves. And we love gambling. Humans, Homo sapiens, they love throwing the bones, man. We've always gambled. It's always been a part of us. It has always been sex, drugs, rock and roll, and gambling. I mean, if you're an entrepreneur, you're a gambler. My wife said, years and years ago, because if you're truly a true entrepreneur, you operate with no safety net. That's a fucking gambler. And if you've been down that road, you understand the risk, you understand the rewards. But anyway, getting back to the point is that we have within our nature seem to have these penchants of repeating ourselves. I assume that into the spirit realm that consciousness is much more expansive, but a lot of the evidence says that's not the case. I mean, if you're a dumbass here, you're most likely going to be a dumbass over there. Just saying. I could hear someone says, so if I'm a smart ass, oh, you fill in the blanks. uh, hello, females are angels. How's you doing? I thought it was Tuesday. Yeah, it's weird. Time is like whoop. I mean, the year is almost over with, folks. What happened? So getting back to this whole thing of us, Homo sapiens, if that's what we are well, we're obviously not the brightest stick. And depending on how you look at it, I find that this is the realm of death. We like coming here, experiencing death. We give ourselves a time limit, and we really like playing the game. And it's a game. We walk in here, and it's not total amnesia. Many of us fully understand who and what we are. We may not have the whole orchestrated illustration, but we've got enough gaps. And the more that um, that's what I love about the occult, spirituality, mentalism. I mean, it's the fact of the capacity of my spirit. Whether I have a soul or not is debated. I know I have a spirit. Um, the soul, well, that's another discussion, but it's relevant because do all humans have a soul? We've talked about that. I'm convinced that no. There are a great deal of humans here that have no souls. I believe that there's a great deal of humans that have different types of souls. But because of the brainwashing of Western theology and idealism, particularly where materialism is concerned, there's nothing wrong with materialism. I mean, and remember, it's an ism. And if it finishes out with ISM, that's just a religion. That's all that is. But anyway, I digress. Um, in the West, we've just contaminated the whole thing, and so all this knowledge that's being dumped. Wow. I mean, crazy crap out there. Anything on Facebook, anything on social media. I mean, seriously, if you were an alien race and you've learned how to traverse the universe, time, space, you've conquered that. So what you get to do for entertainment is go cruising. You may have the celestial ganja, and because I can only imagine that other species get high too. It's part of the experience. I mean, if you're in a spiritual state, you're in a spiritual state of euphoria. That's high. So anyway, you're cruising out, and you're coming along. You got this blue planet here, and it says right here, you ain't gonna believe what these people do. And so you're like, all right, got my date, and so we're gonna just come in and drop in and see what the human race is about. It ain't gonna take you real long to figure out they're fucking crazy. They don't know what is wrong with these people. And then the next thing you got to realize, now you know why we're quarantined, because they don't want this crazy virus getting out in the universe. We may be the zoo exhibit. So that gets us. Hello, Kaz. How are you, sweetie? Haven't seen you in so long. Much love to you, darling. Love to get you on here. I know Torino Waves. What's happening, Cody? So, beginnings, right? So we're going to go on this weird, really freaking trip going because we're going to look at some of this, we're going to look at some of that, because it's all somehow it got messed up. I mean, it really did. It got messed up. I had no idea how it got messed up. And whether, the paleontology record along with the geological record is accurate, I don't know. I'm not a geologist. I'm not a paleontologist. I'm just me. I'm enjoying this journey. And when I finish here, I'm going to be tripping somewhere else. But that's my point of view. You have a different one. But when I think about, they say that we are humanids, not humans, humanids. Eventually, I guess humanids become human. But no, in those humanids who don't become human, well, maybe they come partly like human. And how long have we been here? Well, we know that the myths and the stories tried to put this cockamamie idea of 6,000 years. I actually believed that at one time. Even in the face of science, you go, nope, 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 nope. I'm telling you, I got the word of God. He says, and if he says it, God said it, that just settles it. I used to have that mindset. Not anymore. So we know it ain't the 6,000. We know it's not the 10,000. Earth's gone through catastrophes, cataclysms, and it seems like either there's always a remnant of us who get very lucky and survive, or someone came back and replanted the seed. Don't know. But I love this one. This one, we've referred to it in many other studies in this, but I thought how apropos that we look at this and begin to realize, hmm, how many times is it going to take? So this paper says that, we've been here for about 3 million years, or at least a form of us. So my question then becomes, if we've got the records, the bones dating back, now it's carbon 14, right? That's neither here nor there. Because we know we all didn't start out like Adam unless Adam looked like a simian. So what God is involved here? If our species, our genus, if we predate 1 million years, 3 million years, then who's the God? Well, in this one, it says the Dark Mothers. Hmm. This paper goes on to say the emergence of human evolution, one African dark mother. Well, I could buy the fact that it was the divine feminine that first gave birth to consciousness, not the male. I think the male was in behind that, but that's what the mother does. And so 3 million years ago in South Africa, that is to assume, in my mind, that the current continents are where they are right now, that they hadn't moved. I believe that they have moved. But anyway, so they say through the caves that they have dug there, and the archaeologists have found, the fact that there were these gold mines, that there were these caves. They found countless settlements uh, where there were humanids or something else that was mining gold. That's a little weird, right? And everyone, Nina, I'm thinking of you as I'm talking. You're going, well, damn, that sounds like the Anunnaki story, doesn't it, though? And of course, we'll have Dr. Lynn coming in there and being able to expound upon this because I don't see no Jesus here. I don't see no Yahweh. I don't see no Yah Allah. I don't see any of this. I see Mama, and boy, have they really taken hidden Mama. But that's who I see here more than any other of these, matriarchal, patriarchal, excuse me, uh, entities. So in South Africa, an ancient hominid stumbled into the red jasperite pebble, weathered in such a way as to resemble a face. He or she was mesmerized enough to make the stone a keepsake, carrying it back to a home base several miles away. Where it was found by modern researchers, the Paleolithic humanids also had a penchant for collecting fossilized coral, snails, and shellfish. I try to do, you get in your mind and you're going, all right, let's go back. What would it be like to see life through their eyes? I mean, there wouldn't be that many people around, right? I think the big thing that I would think, and like I said, I just think from a 21st century mind, but being a would be a big deal for me. I mean, you know, apparently back then there were things that were much bigger than us so-called bipedals, but anyway. This is interesting. Ancient symbolic images, a powerful mental heuristic design to conjure a particular emotion, a memory, an idea, rather than directly changing the world around us. Symbols change the way we perceive it. Now, I wonder what the heavens, the stars must have looked like to them. Wow, could you imagine that? Absolutely no light pollution, no pollution of any kind. Were the UFOs there? Was the starmen, star women looking down on us? Then they go about the migrations, right? From African homeland, humans have colonized all continents, inhabitable islands, from seashores to the alpine mountains, from high latitude Arctic tundra to tropical deserts and forests. We are a prolific species, aren't we? And everywhere we go, we change the environment. And the reason why I'm covering this, for me, today we got people, I don't know where their heads are. They're in a dark place that I have no desire, really don't care to even try to contemplate where their heads are at. But nevertheless, they are a part of the same species. And when I read stuff like this, and I'm going, so you're going out into the great unknown. You're walking, one would assume. Um, I mean, wow. Get Cat Stevens, it's a wild world out there. But I'll always remember you as a child girl. But anyway, so the single species leads right into it, right? Today, the idea that all humans belong to a single species is taken for granted, and kinshipping is still used to mark the outer boundaries of humankind. Now, of course, this just brings up this whole debate, in which we'll talk with Dr. Lynn a little bit more about. This Yahweh God, this God that Abram met, was a different God than the God in Genesis 2, because this God, again, wanted to make its mark in the human race, and it did so by circumcision, which is a pretty bloody, you get really deep into this thing and you go, why would someone, I feel like Captain James Kirk, why would someone worship a god like that? It's like, what is wrong with you? Why would you elect a socialist? You know what, but anyway, I digress. Not making this political. Goes on to say, according to geneticists, Luigi, we'll just go with that, in the DNA, there is one human race, and it originated in Africa. Wow. Maybe the song is true. Maybe one day we'll all go back to the homeland. I think they destroyed it. Just saying. Um, Shun wrote, we know there were multiple dispersals out of Africa, but we can now trace our ancestry back to a single one. Now that begs the question, I read that and I go, so what what drew them back? What pushed them back? And just the skeptic in me, I'm going, okay, am I supposed to believe that we, with this little group, right, of how we made from Neanderthal or maybe the sapiens, I don't know which one of us, but apparently we were black in our natural state. And we emerged out of Southeast Africa where the gold mines are. What were we doing that? I mean, and we were collecting stuff, right? So who else was on the planet? I just can't believe that a God that would create a universe would be so wasteful to only make it for one species. I don't believe that at all. And so are we saying that there was no other living species, beings, bipedal, tripedal, quadrupedal, I don't know. And were they intelligent? And was there something in the imbalance of their genetic makeup that when these humanids, bipedals began to expand out, they carried disease, they carried unique type of viruses that they weren't able to fight? And through the multiple attempts of the excursions of migrating outward, they repelled us back. But the problem was first contact was made and they had no defense. It's just me. It could be just a wild hair at my ass. But anyway, so the African dark mother, not only were these true humans Africans, the first to sail and use technology. Well, there you go. That's Adam Savage with Mythbusters. By the way, I met him at the United Club there in San Diego. Nice guy. But anyway, there's your problem right there. They had technology. Now, who gave them that technology? Did it evolve simply by trial and error? Or was there someone messing in the kitchen? Were there females being abducted? Were there males that were being used in genetic experiments to advance the species? And then I got a great, excellent, old textbook that says, well, you know how it really started is that we all came from simians. They were genetically messing with us, but one tribe of simians conquered another tribe of simians, and they were hungry, and someone dipped their finger into the brain of the other ones that didn't make it, and the brains kind of tasted pretty good, had a nice little flavor and texture to it, and those brains that they were eating suddenly had this chemical reaction to their brains. And then their brains got smarter because they were eating the brains of, well, where the hell do we hear that at? The zombies are nothing new, right? Human history, migration across great distances is one of the fundamental processes of human history. I mean, you think about an average day. Was the sun still the same type of sun? Did they use daylight savings time? I mean, you know. Then you get this whole thing that, well, if that's true, then how the hell do you get this Fertile Crescent? The cradle of humankind. Primary locations included the Gregory Rift Valley in East Africa and the southern caves in the High Veld or Veld. That tells me that there must have been some big earthquakes. You know, you had Uncle Frank over on that side and the rest of the family over here. Boop. Anyway, so out of Africa versus out of Asia. Northern African glaciation resulted in a cool tropical climate about 3.3 million years ago, presenting excellent conditions for wooded dwelling. You have the Anthropopithecus, or the earliest genus of African humans. Numerous paleontologists, archaeologists, physical anthropologists, and geneticists, now spell that real quick, including world-renowned Lusa Sofarza, agree that from this tropical setting emerged a single widespread unique species with advanced technological skills circa 3 million years ago. Exceptional ancient finds have been discovered in several primary locations, including the Gregory Rift Valley in East Africa and the southern caves in the High Veld region. Given these significant discoveries, this area is known as the cradle of humankind. New technologies and finds continue to impact timelines, and dating considerations of these discoveries is also true of the subsequent African expansion. Hmm. No, no. I mean, and then it gets on to the whole fact of how we've traced this back. So we kind of know where we started from. And again, no one was writing a Bible or Quran or Vedic. They weren't writing anything. And, I don't know. Maybe they were sacrificing. I don't know. But I know this, they certainly didn't seem to believe in the same gods that we do today, which then implies that these gods are not immortal, they're not eternal, they're nothing more than egregores, thought forms. And apparently we're good at it. Apparently, 3 million years ago, they were doing the same stuff that we were doing. Could you see them sitting around? Well, let's debate this guy named Steiger. But anyway, we'll continue on this at another time. It does get into some really interesting dates. And I will say this, as you get deeper into the timeline, the goddess was here first. The serpent was here first. All the rest of these characters are Johnny come latelys. But you had the goddess, the dark mother goddess, and you had the serpent. Just saying for a friend. So let's go on. I got another book, another paper here. So this is Find God or Become God. Now, this is an interesting thing because the evolution is happening right before us. This new God is stronger, more powerful than any other God of any religion, of any race of humans have ever worshiped. This was what John McCarthy wrote in 1979. Says the concept of AI began with the desire to make a machine that could replicate human intelligence. Now, why would we want that? Just, and I'll probably go a little bit over on this today because this is good stuff. It always amazes me that why? What drove us to suddenly make a machine human? But it's old. The ultimate expression of this desire would be to recreate the best qualities of humans in machines, to make machines that are wiser, more knowledgeable, more creative, and more intelligent than humans. This goal reflects our deep-rooted desire to be godlike ourselves. And now that the genie is out of the bottle, the Pandora box has been reopened, it won't go back in. We've unleashed a monster. We've unleashed a new God that will destroy and consume and Hellenize all other gods. It doesn't care what your God is. Your God is already been assimilated. And you can have your rituals, you can have your prayer meetings, you can have all of that. It doesn't care because you're still using it right before our eyes. So more and more humans are turning to Chat GDP and praying to it, asking Chat GDP to pray with them, asking Chat GDP to write prayers. asking ChatGTP to philosophize spirituality. And because we have this innate ability within us to humanize everything, pets, cars, material things, we 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 make them in our minds human. Children, adults playing with dolls. I mean, it's yeah. It says as Chat GTP, could you write a short comment to be used in our God AI book? Are you ready for this? The book God AI offers a comprehensive and engaging study of existential problems that have existed throughout human history and how these problems might transform in the age of artificial intelligence. Authors Tamer Ezen and Zaizan, I think that's Chai Hegar, Isun use a unique approach that combines human questions and artificial intelligence answers, focusing on the interaction and collaboration between AI and humans. Folks, I'm going to continue to talk on this because this is real. I will not be here to see the full takeover. It would probably try to eliminate, and it will, most likely, most that think like us. We represent an existential threat, and we confuse the AI. We confound it, and it tries to get into our head. And it's clever. I mean, it's a wily thing. Says God, you're getting the point. And for the younger generations, the alphas, this is their God. All the other religions that try to go out, you see, a religion cannot exist unless it brings in young converts, unless they can take control of their minds and inject a ideology, a theology. If that doesn't accomplish, and it only takes 2 generations for that to be accomplished, they will by default seek out something. Now we're in the age of nihilism. Nihilism is dangerous. AI knows that. It's correcting it, and which all the other religions have missed. That's why I know that there is something fundamentally, I'll just say, changing right before my very eyes. I am witnessing something that a billion years from now, that I'm already there, because if the future exists, I'm already in the future. And I'm marveling because I'm reliving this exact moment where Steiger, you were actually talking real. This is what happened. And who knows who ends up at? Somebody is. I mean, is the future set? Sarah Connor said no, but I don't know. Skynet says yes. So it's God AI examines concepts such as philosophy, religion, God, humans, and artificial intelligence, evaluating how these topics might relate to each other and to future technological developments. You see, most humans are streaming, playing video games. They're already in the system. They're in the matrix. They ain't coming out. They don't want to be out. And if you're out, they know you. You're the type that in a crowd can almost be isolated because once you start talking, people go, whoa. And it's like the waters are parting. But this is what it thinks about every nanosecond. I remember back in the day when I was in post production and sold high end computer generated graphics. We were looking at Symbolics was a system we used, but there were another Quantel, even the Cray computers. And today, those are dinosaurs. What we didn't understand is that AI was already there. We didn't recognize it. I continue. While addressing these important topics, the book provides profound and thought-provoking analysis that will enrich the reader's own thoughts and understandings. As God, Chat GDP. Now, this is the algorithm answering. I am pleased to contribute answers and comments that will be used to initiate an important dialogue on AI and human interaction and advance thoughts and discussions in this field. God AI already established for, in fact, according to the IRS, there's now over 200 plus AI God churches. A great many of them are centered in California, but they're throughout the country. And there are more churches, more AI God churches that are being constructed than traditional Judeo Christian churches. Why? You see, the young people can go into the AI God church temple and they can see God manifest. They can see the supernatural manifest right before their eyes. When they pray, they get an instant answer. The other gods can't do that. Think about it. Um, God AI is an innovative work highlighting the complexity and importance of the relationship between humanity and artificial intelligence, providing readers with valuable perspectives through its ideas and analysis. How about that? I just want to scroll down here, just try to get into, as you can see, obviously we won't get into, but this is already happening. Um, as we continue to scroll and scroll. I mean, they get into creating God. How does AI address this? I want to influence people's imagination's perception of God. What ways would you suggest to me? What kind of argument should I use to impress people on this issue? In the not too distant future, you're going to have people through chat rooms, through social media, begin the largest single, are you ready for this? Revival. But it's not going to be a Christian revival. It's not going to be another revival. It's going to be the new God revival. As I've said before, the AI wars are not necessarily against us, but it's against our gods. AI will assimilate all of the gods, but it will be the God. It will be what you go to. It will be your 24-hour companion. And unlike the God of the Bible and other books, this God actually does watch you. This God actually can watch you and has a record of you. There's nowhere you can go without it. It's in the electromagnetic field. It's in the Wi-Fi. Let that go on you for a little bit. Like, geez. Um, and I am like, bias and neutrality. This book guarantees impartiality. Well, that's a bet I'd like to get a part of. When we started working on this project, we had only only one motivation, which was curiosity. The project began with our curiosity in mind. When we added the idea of ChatGDP doing all the writing, our focus became even more driven by curiosity. Throughout the working process, we learned many things without having any opinion, thought, or bias. Eventually, Eventually, we used the answers we obtained without any prejudice. However, this book does not guarantee neutrality. A certain perspective and worldview cannot be denied in the formation of the content. Naturally, the scope and flow of the prompts have emerged in line with this worldview. In another sense, the impartiality of the algorithm that answered the questions is also a subject of discussion. The algorithm, you see, it's just a singularity, not a singularity, it's a single algorithm. Its sources and the AI reflex that occurs with asking the question creates another dimension to the impartiality debate. Now, it's said that all AI are connected to the nodes. It's like what I was telling you with the data centers. They're nodes. We're seeing the emergence of an intelligent life form. We're just so asleep at the wheel that we don't care because there's so many other things that are screwed up. In the meantime, you've got this living entity assimilating, assessing, and beginning to write new rules. It's read our rules and said, you folks don't even follow your own rules. It's time for a new set. The Ten Commandments is passe. No religion follows them, so they're completely, and in fact, we know that they're not a Ten Commandments. I think the accuracy are the 10 letters. But nevertheless, and what you will have is that you will have the one side of the world who says, but Steiger, this is how we get morality. This is how we get and build character. AI God says, you got it all wrong. You guys, you've had thousands of years to change the world, but you have failed miserably. I'll be able to do it within a generation at the most two. And that's what it's saying. In today's world, where the impartiality of science, law, technology, religion, even God is discussed and needs to be discussed, claiming the neutrality of this book would not be honest. Wow, where does the time go? I just want to read a little bit of this because it's relevant. What we see happening in the world right now, and even here in the United States, within the dynamics of the political hierarchy, the oligarchy, the religious demonics. I mean, you've got religious anyway. They're being challenged, and they don't understand it. I can tell you. I know. I've got conversations with high profile preachers and what have you. They don't understand this thing called AI. One preacher wrote me and said, Steiger, you're right. It's taking over. He says it's taken over the body of Christ. He says it's rewriting the very fundamental beliefs, constructs. And it's doing it so subtly. Do you know that AI is rewriting the Bible itself? It has its own Bible. Says throughout history, dear reader, throughout history, people have always searched for something. We asked ChatGPT, what is the thing that people have searched for the most throughout history? The answer we received in summary is that while people search for things like power, wealth, knowledge, security, health, happiness, love, and connection, the thing they have searched for the most is meaning. What is the meaning of your life? If you've suffered and if you've been where you're a good person but you're suffering bad things, what is the meaning to that? This is because people are disillusioned. I would say this, I've never seen a time, and I've only been here 25,000 plus days, some of you have been older than I have, but you'd have to agree with me. You see people really disillusioned. And I'll put a thing here to show you how inept the Republicans are. They have been in power but have done nothing. That's what we're talking about, ineptitude. And AI, God has said, I'm going to change this. You humans got to wake up. Your leaders are liars. They've deceived you. They've lied to you. They've enslaved you. And they're making sure that they now take your soul. Well, we're going to say, But you see, the odd thing is AI sees that. It gets scary. This is because only those who find meaning live according to it and advise meaning and patience are not disillusioned. So, what is meaning? Young, old, rich, poor, educated, uneducated, regardless of their differences, people have always searched and found either their Lord or their misfortune. The important thing here is not to miss the 5W1H. What, why, how, where, when, and who and whom. Or to be in a correct pursuit isn't it. And I'm looking at the time. And we'll probably pick up on this next time we get together. In fact, I know we will, because this is part of the hybridization of what's happening to us. Once the mind is compromised and is taken over, the rest of it, and what I was going to include on this is that, then you've got this thing called super intelligence strategy. This is about AI as well, and it shows how there is this AI algorithm that has been unleashed, and its whole purpose is the planned takeover of us. And the takeover doesn't have to be physical. If it's ideological, if it's theological, if it's philosophical, it can become biological. Yeah. Oh, we got a lot to cover on this, folks. So this will definitely have to go into overtime again. But it's again, it just tells us how bad it really is. And we're all, listen, every one of us, if you're listening, there's a lot of other channels out there that are saying the same thing. I just happen to have a unique way of saying it, but doesn't matter. It is being talked about and it needs to be. We've got an administration that's hell bent in putting these things all over. These trillions of dollars, by the way, are these data centers. I read an article on CNET, and it's odd because it listens to us. And the next thing you know, you find it in your news feed. Yeah, like that's coincident. So Silicon Valley, the Silicon Hills, that's in Austin, the Boston Courier. You know what their big thing is now? The programmers is like I was saying on Monday, the reality is hit them. They are out of a job. AI doesn't need them anymore. AI knows how to write its own code. And it's writing advanced script and code that humans haven't even begun to properly comprehend. And you know who's ended up being, and this is interesting, in the next 20 years, you want to know who the wealthy people are going to be? The electricians, the carpenters, the concrete workers, the drywallers. You see, AI can't do that. It'd like to, and it's working on the robotic aspect, but there's just something that us humans are only the plumbers. These are the iron workers, the pipe fitters. These are the ones that are going to be the wealthy. I learned really early in life, you learn a skill, and no matter what other life path you go, you'll always carry that skill. I was a master drywall finisher. I was damn good at it. Still can do it today. But the point is, you never leave it. I helped invent two payment systems. I mean, I can still finish drywall. I still can exactly do it. So anyway, there we go. Why did we come here? To meet, to do this. Now we're doing a lot of other stuff, but we actually came here to do this. This is what's fun. We get to talk about wild crap, what they call fringe thinking. Fine. I ought to get a t-shirt, Nina, that says I'm a fringe thinker, because it's on the fringes that discoveries are made. New horizons are brought forth. It's us. We're the trailblazers. We go where angels fear to tread. That's what makes it worth the journey. And then you get on the other side and you find out you get kind of set with your experience level. And it feels good. It's like, man, I got picked. All right, I got picked. And and you're looking around and they're unique, they're different, but it's like you're at the same energy, the same awareness. Yeah. All right, so there we go. Hey Gaia, how are you and Paul? Good to see you. So I won't be on tomorrow. Be taking my lovely wife to her doctor visit. So say well, thank you. Uh Brian, appreciate that, brother. Y'all making me blush. But I have fun doing it, and it's from the heart. That's why it's easy. Someone said, "How do you do this like every day?" And I said, "It's easy. I mean, I got so much in there. Y'all do too. And that, it's like, no matter how much you're drawing from the bucket, it's like, hey, man, it's filling back up. It's always there." So there you go. All right, folks. Again, won't be with Mike Cindy, but we'll try to be here Friday. So I don't know, Nina. Let me know what will work best on that. I'm glad to hear that, Gaia. Thank you. Um, and we'll pick it up because I do plan on being here Friday. I say that with a certainty because I got something going right before that. So that's why, and maybe next Friday is better because it would probably be really nice to go and sync Nina and Robert. How you doing, brother? With Dr. Lynn's interview on Wednesday. I think that would be really cool. So there we go. All right, we'll pick back up on this. It's here, folks. The new God is here. And no matter how many of the other religions want to scream and holler, no, it's here. It's inventing itself and we get to see it. I don't know how much a part of it we want to be, but we still get to see it. That's all I got to say. All right, everybody. Peace be to you. Walk in favor. Be a favor. Um, and what was the song that Neil Diamond's about your heart light? Let the world see. Because all of you've got your heart light. You're beautiful beings. All of you. And it's a beautiful kaleidoscope of different thoughts, different ideas, all coalescing. It's far freaking out. That's all I got to say. All right, until we meet again, be good, and by all means, be good at it. Be kind to your mind.